be the vibe. I'm here with Aditya Kripalani, who is a young writer who wrote Backseat, which is a phenomenal story. It's actually best-selling right now, hopefully worldwide soon. The story is about two star-crossed lovers, actually. But what's amazing about the story is that it deals with the fact that they come from a small town that's very traditional, and how this huge tragedy affected and changed their lives, and that's how they found themselves in Bombay. And the things that they had to deal with, the changes of culture and leaving behind their old traditions and facing the new world, just brings so much more depth into the story, and really tells you a lot about Bombay and about life here, and it's fascinating. Tell us a little bit about what made you want to become a writer.
As with most people from commerce background, the only exposure to art that I had was film. I've not done literature, and none of my parents are artists, or I don't have any artistic background technically. So yeah, I wanted to be a filmmaker, and I went to film school thinking that I wanted to be a filmmaker, but I took up the film screenplay writing course, and 1 month into the course I realized that writing is what I wanted to do for life, and that was 7 years ago. And writing film screenplays, as any screenwriter would tell you, is very, very difficult. It's very difficult to get what you want to say out, because film is not a writer's medium, and it is somebody else's money, a lot of money. So at some point I thought, let me write my own book, because my stories will never come out the way I see them. I wrote my own book. It was rejected by every Indian publisher, and then after reaching an all-time low and depression, as many such colorful things, I decided to publish it myself. And we sold it on the roads initially and outside restaurants, and then a national distributor took it up, and then it became a bestseller, and then it's on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. So it's doing well now.
Yeah. So you were completely determined.
Yeah, actually it was one of the things, the external factors that made me stronger, was the kind of feedback I got from readers. It made me sure that this entire process that I had bypassed, publishers, distributors, retailers, I didn't go by anything that they thought is a good book. I just wrote what I wanted, and then when I saw that the common man, the reader, is relating to it really strongly, I knew I had succeeded, because that's the final person I'm trying to reach. I'm not trying to reach retailers. I don't want retailers to read my book, or publishers. It's people. So, yeah.
What inspired you to write this story, Backseat?
It's a very difficult question. Off late, somewhere thematically, I think screenwriters and writers in general, or maybe all artists to a certain extent, when they try to make a living from their art, feel like prostitutes. That's what I believe. So now I feel this is the connection between why I've chosen to write Backseat, because I used to feel like a prostitute when I started off writing. I would never be able to say what I really wanted to. I felt used. I was never paid. So I did a lot of work and I was never paid for it. I've written dialogues for full Hindi films that got released and got paid 20,000 rupees and some crazy shit like that. And so I think the theme of getting into a character who sells herself for money that was exciting to me. Also, somewhere I feel that as human beings, we never react to our current relationships without the burden of our past. Either we are playing out dramas that we've seen between our parents all our lives in relationships, or we are playing out dramas that we have been subjected to in previous relationships, in our current ones. And I thought the combination of a woman who has this burden of a past relationship and this world of dance bars and prostitution was a great combination. So that's how. And I know this world. I've been out of money and broke and penniless in Bombay for years. So I've roamed around the streets at night with not much money. So I know how that's the kind of time they would spend in Bombay. So that was my world.
Can you tell us a little bit, again, this book really deals with the idea of tradition versus the new world. Can you tell us a little bit about this subject?
Yeah, sure. There have been riots, there's been conflict between Biharis and Maharashtrians in Bombay for years. I personally feel that both powers balance each other out.
So one of the characters is behind, one is Maharashtra.
Yeah, the woman is a Konkanas Brahmin. She's from Ratnagiri in Maharashtra. It's the purest, most genuine part of Maharashtra, fisherman. And the boy is from Samastipur in Bihar. It's a small township from a place called Professor's Colony. And so there's been conflict between these two sections of society in Mumbai for a long time. And I feel in Mumbai actually they just both balance each other out. Without any one, the other would get out of control. So it's great. So yeah, and both of these people come from, they're migrants in Bombay, as almost everybody in Bombay is, and they come into Bombay with their small little dreams. One of them of course comes by accident, and the other one, Nikita, the hero of the book, she has her own dreams in Bombay that she wants to fulfill. Small things that all of us would want: to buy a house, which is such a big problem in the city, and to be able to start a small seafood restaurant of her own in Borivali. So those are her dreams. And yeah, they're forced into this big city life, and yeah, I think their innards are exposed, because yeah, I think it's quite difficult for them to come to terms with the way the city functions. The irony is that people who are from the city, who have lived here for 2 generations, are as stuck, and the feeling of being stuck and pressured and not being able to get out of the quagmire that they're in, that feeling is common for people who come from outside and people who are locals. And that's interesting. That's like a common thread. Everybody feels stuck, and everybody feels this burning need to move on and get out of this shit. So, yeah.
What is great about this story is that through all these problems that they have to face and all these differences in culture, love overcomes that. Love for them creates a connection. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Vijay, the guy who's a chauffeur, we call them drivers in India. He has run away from home, and he has come here with no money, and he's trying his best to be a driver, a chauffeur, with this rich, spoiled 22-year-old producer's son, Shashank, who's the antagonist of the story. And Nikita this is the most inopportune time in their lives for love, for both of them. But yeah, I mean, through their desires to make a living, through their desire and strife to make their dreams come true, through their desire and strive to just get through every day in this mad city, love actually does kind of overcome all that and makes them feel like human beings again. Because I think till then, till we experience love, and in the moments that other than the moments that we experience love, the city can be maddening. But I think it's either the love of friends, or the love of family, or the love of art, or the love of lovers that can kind of balance living in the city out. So yeah, you're right that love does kind of move through all that and sort them out.
So, I'd like to know, what do you think is romantic love?
Wow, that's a really difficult question.
I'm good at those.
Yeah. Okay. I think romantic love. What a difficult one that is. I don't know. I've been in a relationship for 11 years now, and I still will write poetry for my wife at 3 a.m. and I will still SMS her a song from some Hindi film in the middle of a day because I've thought of her listening to that song, and she does the same. I don't know. So I don't know. I have no. This answer is just such a big answer. I think predictability, because you've known someone for very long, and surprise is a great combination. So if you have both those, then it's a good relationship. Another thing is that not just romantic love, but I think a lot of objective analysis is my understanding of romantic love. It's funny, but it's not just your heart, but it's even your head that tells you that this person is good for you. So a combination of both is romantic love.
So romantic love is also very healthy for you.
Yes, it better be. Because there's a different flavor to, of course, things that are temporary or short term also have their own flavor and are beautiful in their own right and can be very intense. But there's also another flavor to very long term relationships, which I don't know why all of the world runs for those especially, but it has its own flavor. So that's really tasty too.
A depth.
Sorry?
A depth that comes
yes,
with
yes, absolutely. Which is a flavor which you only get over time. But then those are the difficult ones. Too much luck involved.
So, do you think we have a choice in who we fall in love with?
Yeah, I think we do. We obviously go for the physicality of a person initially, and then as you get to know someone, there's always a weighing of options. There's always a weighing of understanding. Let's say that two people start off, and one person is a very difficult person. In my relationship, I was clearly the most difficult one. Then the other person has to keep weighing whether at each point, does this man or does this woman have scope to improve? Deep within all the shit there is on top, and all the reactions to our past that we are, there is a deeper human being. So I think you need to keep weighing whether you are getting through to that human being and whether that human being is blossoming. If he or she is not, then you'll be stuck with the shit for life. So yeah, I think there's always a constant weighing. So you do choose at every point, every day, every month, every time you come to an impasse, you do choose whether you want to be with this person. So you do choose who you love.
So, from what I understand, you believe that in order for love to blossom, for a relationship to develop, the human person itself has to always change, develop, grow.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
That's something that's fundamental for any relationship.
Absolutely, yeah. Change is the only thing. And the lovely thing is, as Osho would say, the poetic bit about it is that then the chase is always on. When the chase is over, both people are bored. But if you're changing all the time, then the chase is still on. So there is poetry, because you are not 100% secure at any point. Insecurity is poetry. Without insecurity, there's no fun. So yeah, only if you're changing all the time. If you stop changing, then you'll reach a point where you become completely secure and you know each other 100%, and then boredom sets in. But if you are both changing and both evolving, then it's fun. But then that's kind of just got to be lucky, because you can't do much about that. Just hope for the best.
So you're in a happy relationship, happily married.
Yeah.
And you're on your way to create your dreams, and things are going really well. Do you have a piece of advice to all the viewers out there that are looking for that perfect relationship? How would you go about it?
These are such big questions. Alright. I don't know, go with a combination of your instinct and what your brains tell you, your objective analysis or your objective thinking. So go with a combination of both. That's the best combination. And let that objective thinking and analysis grow and evolve, so that your understanding of the person with you is stronger and deeper with time. So go with both. Don't just go with instinct, and don't just go with an analysis and like a tick marking of check boxes that okay, this seems fine. Go with both. And as long as you go with both and you're true to both and do a balancing act, you'll be fine always.
I want to ask you one more question. On a personal note, you married through love marriage.
Yep.
Is that something that was traditional in your family already, or are you the first to have married a love marriage?
My parents had a love marriage. Shweta, my wife, her parents didn't have a love marriage. Theirs was an arranged marriage. And she was from a very traditional household. And I have been this renegade, rebellious madman. So I'm sure it was very difficult for her family. But it took me about 8 years to slowly kind of create changes in her family too. And then I guess now we're at even keel in terms of family. So yeah.
So 8 years you fought for the right to marry.
Yeah, no, actually they wanted me to get married right then. I guess 8 years I fought for the right to get married when I'm ready. And when we're both ready. So we had that problem with the traditional thing in India, that there was this pressure. There was this constant pressure. I think it's a problem with people in India. They're not given the space to think about a live-in relationship, or to, that option just isn't there. So from the start, when you start dating someone, things are changing now, but now I'm also almost archaic. I'm 30. So if I was 20 now, things would be different. But at my time, and it sounds funny when a 30-year-old says this, but in my time it was different. There was this constant pressure of tradition to get married soon, like ASAP, and we took 8 years to get married. So yeah,
So you broke all the rules.
Yeah, at that time we broke all the rules, and now the rules are all different. So now we don't feel like we did anything great.
Thank you, Aditya.
Great.